It's a really good bounce back win. The couple of things that were covered in shoot around and in the film on the defensive side of the ball, I thought improved drastically tonight. I thought our overall effort, tenacity, competitiveness, just kind of the fly around factor was way different tonight than it was in the last game. For us to have 10 steals helped us get out in transition. I thought we dictated the tempo of tonight's game. They had 36 points in the paint. I think going into the fourth quarter, it was 22. So overall, the team effort to protect the paint and to scramble around was way better than the other night. And it always makes you feel good when the team shows the ability to learn, bounce back. There's going to be nights that don't go our way, but the way they approach tonight's game is the piece that I'm most proud of. 30 assists. We had our two young guards with 9 and 10 assists, respectively. Between the two of them, 19 assists, 6 turnovers. Like the way they took care of the ball and got it moving for us was great. Another night with 6 guys in double figures. It's a great team win.
There have been times this season, there have been a lot of downs this season, but you guys have responded relatively well when that happened, and stayed kind of resilient through a lot of the challenges. What do you think that is, and what do you attribute in terms of the character of the team that's allowed that to happen?
Ultimately, the character of any group is going to be reflective of kind of the summation of the character of all the individuals. Like the players deserve all the credit. They're all tough. They're all smart. They're all really good human beings. They're good teammates. They're respectful people. They have humility. They take coaching. They take ownership of the things that they need to do better. We don't have a group that points fingers. We don't have a group that complains under their breath. I think we've developed a really healthy communication between the group. It's blunt. It's to the point. I think the team as a whole has lost the sensitivity to just like, hey, this is what we see, and that could be coach to player, it can be player to player. Like I think the way that our team has communicated with each other and the way that has grown throughout the season has been a massive piece of that. It's allowed us to move through the tough moments because we just face it head on as a group and keep moving. But they deserve all the credit because ultimately the character of the group is a summation of all of their characters individually.
And you guys did a lot of zone possessions tonight. Why did you go that way? And what do you see?
Yeah, it's something that we've used a good amount over the last couple of years. This season, for a majority of the year, we've kept it on the shelf. We've been trying to hammer home some man-to-man defensive fundamentals. We've been trying to also kind of evaluate and push our young players on those fundamentals and see where we can, the areas we see growth, the areas we need growth. But, as a staff, we felt like this time of year is a good time to bring the zone back into the fold some. It keeps everybody's brains sharp. It kind of kickstarts your brain again because it's something totally different. There was kind of a feeling of monotony where you're just kind of repeating the same things over and over again about the man-to-man, and the zone really ultimately comes down to communication and problem solving and scrambling. There are some rules, but there's also situations where it requires the players to really communicate and solve those problems on the fly. It'll be something that we will continue to use throughout the season. How much sort of remains to be seen, but tonight I thought the biggest thing it did was it forced them to shoot a lot of above the break threes and kept them off the rim. I thought for the most part, even when they had their moments where they hit some above the break threes, the guys were pretty disciplined about what we were trying to execute, knowing we can't take away everything. And we turn in a night where they have 36 points in the paint.
Walker had 6 blocks, but obviously I thought he could have 10. What did you make of his kind of play for that team?
Yeah, I think Walker is The craziest part about Walker defensively is he can still get so much better. I've talked with Walker about the difference between being a great defensive player and being a great shot blocker. And I think that all signs are he is really trending to being a high-level defensive player all around. We've obviously mixed his coverages up a bunch this year. He's been doing some more switching. The zone requires him to communicate. But his activity around the basket, his ability to make plays at the basket that inspire his teammates, that get our crowd going, like those are big plays. A lot of times relying on Walker at the rim means there's probably been a mess that's been made, and he's there to clean up those messes. So he does a really good job. I'm on him constantly because I think that he can be such a high-level defensive player kind of in the round. And I think that he's showing the signs to go that way. 6 blocks is obviously a big number, but I'm always interested when I go back and watch the film at not only the blocks, but the shots that he alters, the shots that they don't take. Guys drive and don't even look at the rim because they see Walker coming. So there's a lot of impact that he has on our defense, and tonight was a good example of that.
It seems like Keontae is really down to rhythm as the sixth man for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him in terms of maturity and accepting that role? Because I know it'd be hard. It's hard on any player to lose a starting job and have to come off the bench.
Yeah, it's all about how we frame it. I think there's a big deal made about starting, and there's a little bit of that that's true, but I've said a lot, and I'll continue to say that doesn't mean that you'll necessarily get more minutes. It doesn't mean that you'll be in at the end. I think that Keontae has understood that this is not meant to be a punishment. It's meant to get the best out of him and put him in a position where he can be successful. He's done a good job of kind of refocusing on a lot of the things that aren't scoring. He's such a talented offensive player, but I think he's really diving into all the things that equate to winning. I don't think that his minutes have suffered really at all coming off the bench, and I think it took him a couple of games to realize that. When you're told you're not going to start, immediately your brain goes to, what does this mean? And no matter how much explanation there is, until you go through it and feel it and know, like, hey, this isn't going to have a massive negative impact on you, it's hard to know that. So he's handled it great. He's handled it as I expected he would. Keontae's a great kid. He's a great teammate. He's about the group, and he knows that he has to get better, and he wants to. So I've been really proud of his demeanor, and we've got to keep that going. Thanks.